makes you happy.
Hello everyone, it's RiverBendSurvival again. We're going to be doing the next installment on my series of book reviews for outdoors, bushcrafting, those kind of subjects. I'm getting ready to tell you about a book that I enjoyed quite a bit when I first got it and looked through it. But I'm going to have to tell you something that I'm kind of embarrassed to tell you. I did not realize until just a few minutes ago that this book is actually another Boy Scout book. It's right on the front cover too. I just never noticed it down in the bottom right hand corner of it. This is the Complete Wilderness Training Manual. It's the second edition of it. It's by a guy named Hugh McManners. Here's the book right here, and if you look down here on this corner right here, it says plain as day, Boy Scouts of America, right here down in the graphics. I never noticed that that's what it was. It doesn't affect it one way or the other for me. It's just that I've already done one of the Boy Scout books. However, unlike the first Boy Scout book that I did, this one is really informative. There's some generic information in here though. You know, he'll talk about you can't eat this kind of fish because it's poisonous. It's not a true statement. What is a true statement is a variety of that fish is poisonous. So, you know, he can't go into every different variety of every different fish. He's just giving you a generic perspective on certain things. Let me real quick go over some of the chapters that are in this. Basic equipment, living in the wild, finding water, finding and preparing food, on the move. This book, let me get to a good example here. Hopefully this will show up on the camera. This book has very good color illustrations all the way through it. It's not one of those cartoon drawn books. I mean, there are some things that are drawn, but the vast majority of it is actual pictures. When he's showing how to set up his tent, it's actual pictures of him setting up his tent. I enjoyed this book. I enjoyed this book a lot. I had actually forgotten how much I enjoyed it until I was looking through the shelf at all the books that I have, and I was trying to pick out which one I was going to do, and I said, you know, I like that book. I haven't checked it out in quite a while. So I sat down and I glanced back through it again to refresh my memory about it. It has some great work on lashings, sleeping bags and beds, basic survival kit things to have. And like with any book that wasn't written by me, I'm not going to agree with everything that's in it. If I wrote a book, nobody that's watching is going to agree with everything that I put in it. Heck, everybody doesn't agree with everything I put in these videos, let alone if I put it in a book. To each his own. I see nothing negative in this book. If I find things as I go along that I go, no, I do not believe this is not right, I tell you. And I'll tell you why I think that. It's a very, very good book. There was something that struck me as odd about the book, and I didn't realize what it was until I was glancing back through it again. As he's doing projects in here, on the majority of them, he's using a kukri. And that's cool. I think I've expressed I've been looking for a kukri. I want to get one. I want to experiment with one for a while. But in some of the other pictures, he's using this cheesy little folding knife, and I do mean cheesy. And for the life of me, I could not figure out why he was switching back and forth between knives. Now I understand there's detail knives, and there's bushcrafting knives, and there's shelter building knives. I understand all that. But as a general rule, when people do books, they show themselves using the same tools from beginning to end. This one's flipped back and forth. It never made sense to me on why some of the tasks were being done with that little cheesy folding knife until, like I said a little bit ago, I sat down and saw this was done for the Boy Scouts. It's using one of their little folding, non-locking knives to do some of the task. And that makes sense, you know. He's got stuff in here about climbing up and down rocks and belaying, some things like that. I would be a little sketchy on recommending people to go out and take this book and look at the 3 pictures that are in it and the 4 little paragraphs and try to rappel off of a cliff. I would just avoid that. If it's an absolute emergency situation and you have the right equipment and whatever the case may be, it would be better to have these 3 little pictures than nothing and try to guess how to do it. Anyway, there are some cool, and I do mean this, there are some very cool projects to do in here. Like making a crab cage, making a gill net. He does a cool thing with a trap harpoon. It's pretty cool. I'm going to be honest with you, I've never tried it. I will make one just to see how it works. He shows how to make hooks out of rose bush thorns. Now, if you're in a survival situation, I don't know how many rose bushes you're going to have around, but the theory is kind of the same between it and other plants that are common to it. He has some things in here on how to use common items to make fishing lures. It's a very good book. I know I've said that a couple of times, but I do mean it. It is definitely a book that I would recommend. Let me put it this way. This would be a great book if whether you're new or you've been doing bushcrafting for a long time, just to try some of the projects that he does in here, just to see if you like it better than what you're currently doing. His ideas on clothing, I mean, it's all very relevant information that's in here. I still am not going to categorize this as a top tier survival bushcrafting book. I don't know that I've done any of the reviews yet on the ones that I consider the top tier ones, the ones that are, you can get this book and be done. This is not one of those. However, having said that, I do believe that this is a great book if you have kids that you're teaching bushcrafting, if you have young people around you that are interested in it, or if you're just bored. And I mean that in a good way. If you're thinking, man, I want to go out, but I don't want to just sit out there all day, or I'm not going to go hiking for 10 miles and set up camp. I want to go hiking for 2 miles, relax, maybe try some projects. This book is full of great project ideas. Anyway, it's called The Complete Wilderness Training Manual by Hugh McManners. I know I got it off of Amazon. It's, well, I don't know what you consider the price point on it. It's $15 US, $17 in Canada when I bought it. I've had it probably for a couple of years, so I don't know what's happened with the price up or down. Anyway, hope this helped you with some information about it. I do recommend it. I do think it's a good quality book. I think it's worth the investment, and I will probably actually do some videos coming up fairly shortly on doing a couple of the projects out of here. And when I do that, I'll reference this book. I'll say I saw this in here so you can see what kind of things I'm talking about. Until next time, it's Darby reminding you, get out in the dirt and have some fun. Thanks.